All right, everyone, this is the father of four at 40. Today I'll be working on a 2005 Ford Escape, doing a double DIN installation with an XNAV 267BT. Before we get started, let me just go over what we're going to need today. First, of course, you need your actual CD player. This one is a DVD, navigation, Bluetooth, the whole works. It'll come with your wiring harness and a GPS thing, which I'll show you in a second. Before you do that, I would say go into Metra and order your installation kits. And I'll put a link below what you can look for. This one here has already been installed. And then right here, along with Metra, what I did was I went and ordered the wiring harness that matches up to the 2005 Ford Escape. And then this is your double DIN removal tool. Along with this, you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need your electrical wire cutters here, some heat shrink and lighter. If you need to, if you're not going to go the soldering route, electrical tape, wire connectors. I recommend going over to even Harbor Freight, getting a cheap soldering tool with solder. If you need any more information on this, I would look up how to solder. Chris Fix has always been a great person to look up, so if you need to, go to YouTube and look up Chris Fix on soldering. And then of course I have my cutting tool, because I'll tell you right now, with doing a double DIN, you may have to cut your dash down, and I'll show you what to do on that next. Okay, so here we go. When you order your removal tools, this is what it will look like. What these are for is putting inside the dash here. And what happens is, on the side, you'll see that you have these little clips that will lock into this part of the dashboard. So when you put these clips in, you want to put them in and kind of angle them to the side. Then what you'll do is you'll push this way on each of them and pull. So what that does is, you'll see, let me give you a better look here. Whoops. When you push these in, okay. So, as you can see, the tools that I've ordered from Metra are these removal tools that are made specifically for this particular dash. What happens is, you'll just put them in at kind of an angle and push until you hear a click. Then you'll be pushing on the outside of these and pulling. What that does when it clicks in, as you can see, I can pull on that, and this piece here is what latches onto the side. So by putting a little pressure on this piece here, you'll be able to slide the entire system out. Now, sometimes while you're pulling this out, these will just pull out, and it gets kind of annoying. What I should do is, or what you should do is, just put maybe a flathead screwdriver with some electrical tape on it and press this way while you're pulling on these pieces here. That'll give you access to the back of your radio. Now, before doing that, I recommend disconnecting the battery if you're not comfortable around this electronics. Sometimes you can get a short. I'm not worried about that. I just go ahead and pull this out. But before you do that, I do recommend making sure you've pulled out all your CDs from the system so that they don't get lost inside there. In the back, what you're going to notice is just the cables here, which when I bought this car, someone was jacking around with the wires and doing it this way. That's stupid. What you're going to do is disconnect the antenna from the back, and then you're going to see a little tab underneath. You're going to press up and wiggle that out. All right, so now that we got that disconnected, here's the two things that you'll see. Your car's wiring harness. Do not cut these wires. Go and get yourself from Metra the piece that connects to your car that come with your CD player. Now, in this one, I've already installed the GPS unit. If you can look back there, It'll go in. I've got mine resting right up inside here, which means it's sitting about right there in the dash. As long as you're in front of the windshield here, you should be good. Now, the other thing you'll get from Metra, I told you, is these side pieces here. Everything's going to be different depending on which one you get. And remember, this unit was a double din. So if you're going to get just a regular stereo, it'll have usually like a shelf piece in there. You want to make sure that the one you're ordering is for a double din, which is this one here, full screen. On the sides here, you have multiple options depending on how your holes line up on your system. And the other thing you want to pay attention to, and this is something that I ran into in the beginning, was I had this sitting too high. That this one having the turn knob, my fingers kept hitting into this thing. So before I pushed it all the way in and had it lock into place, I just had it sitting there for a while to see if there was anything else that I needed to work on. And then once I figured out that everything is golden, I moved this to where it needed to be, and now I can push it all the way in. But here's something you're going to run into. This plastic piece right here goes all the way across the top, and as you can see on the bottom right here, you may have to trim this. That's where the oscillating tool comes in handy. I have one that has the flat blade. It will be wood metal. This also does plastic. Very fine teeth. What happens is, once I got the Metra unit pieces on the side, I can do a kind of a dry fit and realize that the sides were doing just fine, but the top part is right up against this. So I had to trim that out, which is not a big deal. All you need to do is use this tool and it will sit flat up against this, and it'll just trim that away one piece at a time as I go down, nice and flat. I didn't have to do the bottom. I figured I'd trim the top piece first and see if it fits, which it does. If not, I could also just trim this out. See how it just sits flat? That'll just oscillate back and forth, and it's like a hot knife going through butter. Now, with the wiring kit, you're going to see a lot of people saying just to use wire cutters and the wire connectors. I like to go a little better on mine, and this is why I said go get yourself a cheap soldering tool and some solder. Take the time and do it right. I just bring the wires together here. You'll do like an X form with the wires, twist them together, solder them, and use some heat shrink tubing right here. On the bottom, I've just electrical taped this here so it doesn't pull on these wires here. This will just connect to the back of your system, and of course this end will go into the car piece right here. Now, with this particular system, which is the XNAV 267BT, you may run into a few things with this. And this is again why I say don't press it all the way in and lock it into the piece here, because it won't be as easy. You won't be able to use the removal tools on your new system and pull it out. You'll have to end up taking off this entire front piece. So just slide your thing into here until it's snug. Try everything first, even for a week, and I'll tell you why I did that. Because I was using this car all day. After I plugged everything in, made sure everything worked, I noticed that the first one is the illumination wire. During the day, I never had my headlights on. Everything worked great, no problems. At night, I turned on my headlights and my system started blinking. The screen would go in and out. I thought for a second it was a short. After speaking to the company, they said, go ahead and cut the illumination wire, which is this orange wire here, not this one here, which is the reverse, which will usually have this one here. It'll have all their labels and stuff. This one's already been cut off. And that's all I did. I just cut off the end for the illumination and haven't had any issues since. After that, everyone's kind of wondering, okay, well, what about the DVD bypass? People are saying, oh, you need to go and get a switch and turn that on and off. It really depends on your system. This system, you don't need to do that. all you need to do is you'll find the pink wire, which is here, and then you'll also have your ground wire, which is your black. And all I did on this one, as you can see, my pink wire, it'll tell you in the instructions that it needs to either go to the other pink wire or you'll have a light green. The dark greens here are your speaker wires. Your black wire is your ground. So what happens is, if you want to do a DVD bypass, and what I mean by that is you'll be able to play DVDs without having to be in a stopped park position with an emergency brake. Just attach this pink wire to the black wire. And then those two wires will twist together. And inside here, they're already been soldered. But the black wire here, the ground, that's all you need to do. This particular system just needs to see a ground. It won't affect your system anyway. You're not going to be starting fires or anything like that. The last issue that I had, and again, I bought this as a clearance, maybe that's why, but I was noticing that there was a couple times that when I turned off my car, the picture on the DVD player was not going out. This stayed on. Full power, car's completely off, keys off, doors open, it wouldn't go off. What I looked back at was this orange wire inside the clip was loose. So maybe it was, from pulling it out or something. That's why I always say hold on to the plastic piece itself and not the wires. But I usually don't do that. This one was just loose. So again, that's a whole other video, but check your wires. That one, now that it's tight in there, it shouldn't have any more issues. Now on the back of this here, what we'll do is you'll have 3 connections. The first one goes into the side here. And that should just click into place. All right. There we go. That's clicked. Now, the other 2 pieces will be your GPS piece right here, which again, I've already put on the inside, and I'll pull that wire out. There it is. Okay, they give you a lot of extra wire. Again, depending on the vehicle you have, you may need longer or shorter. And then this just screws in to here. No, you don't need to go and get a torque wrench or put anything, just hand tighten it. That'll go right here. The rest of the wire, I just like to tuck nicely down in here inside your dash. Just make sure that the wiring unit is not being caught up in the wire. And then of course just watch out for like sharp metal pieces here, either with your hand or the wire. You don't want anything getting cut and then grounding out. Another reason why I wrap it with the electrical tape, to kind of protect it from anything inside the dash. All right. Now, the last thing that I'll do when I put this in is I'm going to put in the antenna here. And then these are for others. This is going to be, again, if you've got a subwoofer in your car, or if you have a backup camera or anything like that. That's where you get like these extra wires here and stuff like that. But my car on this 2005 Ford Escape does not have it. So I'm going to hurry and put this in. I'm going to put you on pause for just a second. I'm going to slide this in, but all I'm doing right now is adding this antenna piece, connecting this piece, and then I'm going to slide it into place. All right, now that those three cables are now plugged into this, I've slid it into place, but again, I haven't locked it into place because we always want to make sure everything is working before you do that. So now with the DVD bypass, I can just go ahead and start up the car. And you can see that, yes, I'm in park. My emergency brake is not on. But what I'll do is when you come in, if it doesn't start up right away on this particular model, you just press the button. That will come on. Now, right now, the radio is working, everything sounds great, but I will adjust the speakers later through my settings. You can come into here, go down to adjust here, and this is where you can adjust subwoofer loudness, all of that, just by pressing on it. Now go back to the home, and we know that the radio is working. Now we go to disc. Right now I put in a DVD instead of a CD, just so you can show you that the bypass is working. And for you younger folk that may not know what this is a great show that I grew up on back in the 80s. Can't go wrong with it. But I see, again, we are in park. Emergency brake is not on there, but the DVD will work just fine. Let's go ahead and get to it. Picture's not bad, but again, need to adjust anything, you can even go into here and adjust the brightness, sharpness, anything like that. Go to the main menu here. Again, if you haven't seen this show, I highly recommend it. Oh yeah, MacGyver. Let's take a look at this. This will bring back your memories. And there you go. I thought this would be great for the installation. So now watch. Oh, we're in reverse. The DVD's still going. Yes, I'm paying attention to where I'm driving. Now in drive. No problems. And that's because of the DVD bypass. There was that pink wire that you just put onto the ground. Now we can come back here, press on the screen, go back to the home. Now remember, do the bypass. I more keep this for my kids when they're in the car with me and they can watch the movie screen. Pay attention while you're driving and don't be watching your DVD. It's annoying as hell when I have to deal with drivers like that. I can actually just drive and listen to it and I'm fine. But here's what I recommend. Turn on your lights and watch this. If it's flashing, pull this back out, find the orange wire that says illumination and just cut it. Maybe put some electrical wire around it so it doesn't ground out anywhere. Check out the DVD, try a CD. The last thing that this thing came with is your GPS navigation. Now, this is the one last problem that I found, and again, I had bought this on clearance and it was missing some stuff. This is what's going to happen every time it loads. Besides disk, you're also going to see a dual plug app. I can't show you because it's on my phone, but you can actually download dual or iDual or something like that. It'll have it on the paperwork that comes with your system. That way you can do everything from your phone. And don't worry, this just keeps going on because I haven't selected anything else like radio. Okay, so last thing, I'm going to turn this down, is you'll have your GPS. When I go into here and I go to navigation, no GPS map. That's because you need this little piece that goes with it. Mine did not have it. I called the company and just gave them a receipt and they sent me this. Now, here's the other thing you're going to run into. Oh, doesn't fit, does it? No. But this chip card slides up from the top like this. I'm trying to hold the camera and do both. But this little piece is what goes in here, and this slides in to that there. That way you can go onto the website, download the maps onto this with your computer, pull out that chip, put it in there. That'll make the navigation work. Any other questions with that, just put in the questions below and I'll get to those. Make sure you give a thumbs up and subscribe. You're going to have lots of content coming in. And this is the father of 4 at 40. I'm going to be teaching you a whole bunch of things on how to work on multiple cars. I'm a Ford man. I have a 97 Ranger, this 05 for my daughter, which is the Ford Escape, a 98 Expedition, and a couple others. I can show you how to do repairs. I'm going to be teaching a lot of stuff about the AutoWorks. I'm also a licensed handyman, so I'm going to be doing videos on how to do home repairs, build sheds, build decks. So make sure you subscribe and get that notification. I hope you all like this and it helped you out, and I'll see you next time.